you, mate. Oh, there. How's it going?
This is exciting.
Welcome.
Yes.
How do you like it?
Did you get one more tattoo since I saw you last?
One or two.
Yeah, it's a couple more.
Where's yours?
What? It's a potentiality. It's a very slight and slim potentiality. So you've got a story that you wanted to tell me that we didn't get a chance to talk about the other day, and I think it's really important that you kind of break it down.
Yeah, you know, it's amazing, you know, when we talk about the ripple effect and stuff, and you know, you don't really notice these things until it's sort of put into your head, and that's what it is. You know, last year in October, myself and a couple of friends, we walked from the Gold Coast down to Sydney.
How far is that?
That's 916 kilometres. So that's 60 kilometres a day, which is about 37 miles a day for 15 days. And that was about 10 to 12 hours a day walking. You know, so it's a heavy slog. You know, it's heavy going. But you know, it was doing what we're doing now. It's getting out and meeting people, and you know, and just hearing people's stories and everything like that. And it made things so easy for us because we were getting to meet these amazing people. You know, and then one day we're about halfway through, and one of the guys got a phone call. It was through the Maritime Union of Australia that he's a member of, and they said one of their members had rung up and said, "Look, guys, I just want to let you know, can you pass on a message? I've been following the guys on social media." He said he was at home, he cleared everything he had to clear, done everything he had to done, and he'd made his plans and he was sticking to it, and he was going to end his life. And he said he jumped on social media and actually saw us, what we're doing, looked into it a bit more and heard our message and everything, and decided he wasn't going to do it. He'd gone and got himself help, and he was ringing up and just saying, like, I want to let the guys know it's work. You know, what they're doing is working for us. We could have hung our shoes up then.
You could have you could have walked home.
That's it, and that's that ripple going out. What we were doing, one thing little, but affected that person. He's going to go home and tell these other people. You know, he'll sit there and tell people what had changed his life, and hopefully they change that, and that changed that, and hopefully that happened along the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it was magic. It was magic here and that. And it made all the hard work. You know, it was 2 years planning that walk, and a lot of hard work. A lot of us leaving our families for that time and stuff, and it just made every little step worth it.
It made it worth it, and it made you realize how your ripple has an impact. Now, I'm guessing that young man had a family.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Who knows? But let's say this: he's probably got people that care for him.
Yeah, definitely.
People that love him that he wasn't aware of.
Yeah.
And he chose to stay after hearing a message of hope and light.
That's it.
And he said, "I can do this."
That's it. And it doesn't. It's that one little thing that it doesn't have to be this grand gesture. It can be one little thing. Just sparks that bit of hope in someone and changes their life. No, and it doesn't. You don't have to affect someone in a big way. It can be a small way, but it could change their life in a big way. You know,
it's a catalyst to change.
That's it.
It's a catalyst. If we can all be that catalyst for one person, 2 people, 10 people, 20 people, 100 people, thousands of people in our lifetime, if we stick to this, the ripple effect will go on forever. Because what you realize is you're having a ripple effect on his life. Maybe he has a kid sometime down the line. That child would not have existed without him choosing life, without him recognizing from your message, I can choose life. Then the kid grows up, and the kid has kids.
He might tell that story long.
And the kid tells that story to a young man who he grows up with in high school, who turns 16 and has suicidal thoughts.
That's right.
And the ripple effect just goes on.
Keeps going and going.
But just as that ripple effect goes on, so does the ripple effect of a death by suicide.
Now, we stopped in Grafton, a town northwestern New South Wales. Over the last year, they've lost 12 teenagers to suicide in this one and a small community. You know, and it's they don't want to use the term, but it's like an epidemic up there. You know, and they're rattled. They don't know how to deal with it. And and talking and stuff. The night we talked at one sporting club, half the people didn't turn up because they're turning the life support off on another kid that night. You know, and it was heartbreaking being there. You know, and I was trying to say to these people, I'm only a guy stepping in town for a week. I can't give you the answers. You've got to go and educate yourself. What I can tell you is you've got to look at your perspective on it. 100%. You know, that's the main reason. Well, one of the main reasons why I started doing what I was doing. You know, I lost a lot of friends over the years. I almost wasn't sitting a lot of times. You know, and it's different things and different people that affected me along the way that kept me here. And it's 2 very good friends of mine that I lost that inspired me to get my bum out of the chair and do whatever I can. I heard it a long time ago, and it's something I stand by, is to change the world, you've got to change yourself. And you can't change the world without changing yourself. So, and that's why, everyone you speak to, they've had someone that's changed their life. And it's what you do, it's grabbing that opportunity by the horns.
Each member of Team Ripple World, especially each member of Team Ripple Australia, has had that transformative moment in their lives. And whether it's one moment or 10 or 20, it's a transformative area of their lives that has led them to say, this ain't about me.
Yeah.
It ain't about me. It's about going out there to the people of Australia, to the people of America, to the people around the world, and saying, you can stay alive, and here's some ideas on how you get there. Here's some ideas on how you live, and you choose life every day, even in that desperate pain.
Yeah. And I think it's perfect. It's one of the most impactful things with the crew we've got in Australia here, is we're all so different. We all come from so many different backgrounds, and even just to see me and Joe together, or even me and Loz together, or me and Pat, or Pat and Loz, and Steph. Everyone's so diverse, but everyone, as you said, has got that one or two moments, and it's that light bulb moment where it's things are changing.
Our stories are vastly different, yet they are the same.
And interconnected.
Interconnected. I think that's what gets people going about when we go and speak, or when Sam Webb goes and speaks, is that it's not about us, it's about your story.
Yep.
When you look at an audience of 1,000 teens who are in high school, who haven't fully developed their brains yet, and they're struggling, and they don't know how to express themselves, and you tell a story of how you didn't know how to express yourselves, immediate connection.
Yep.
And then 100 kids come down off those bleachers to shake your hand, to say hello, and most importantly, to say thank you.
Yep.
But you didn't do anything except tell the truth.
That's right.
And when you tell your truth, what happens? Other people tell theirs.
People can see the truth in it as well.
Yeah.
I can't sit in a classroom or a lecture hall or something and listen to someone rattle off stats and figures and numbers. It doesn't sink into me. Some people it might, and some people it might work. What works for me is hearing someone's story. Sam getting up and telling his story, Joe telling his story, you telling your story. That sinks into me. You can walk away with a pamphlet of stats and numbers, and it's great. You need to get that information across. It's good to have it, but it's that story. It's hearing people's real life story. It's what we've done with the treadmill run and stuff.
Yeah.
Is bring real people in, and it's having communities come together and talk about it. We like to bring along a lot of sports stars and TV personalities and getting them to tell their story, because people look up to them. And especially kids looking up to sports stars, hearing these big tough footballers and stuff talking about times in their life when they were struggling and they were down, and then they got past it and they built themselves up to where they are. Lets kids know that they can do it. It gives them that hope.
Yeah.
That people that they look up to can have these times, or so can they. People that they look up to can get through those times, or so can they. That has the impact on them. And then they'll go back to school that next day, tell their mates, what about I met so-and-so, and this is what he was telling me. And that might stay with that kid, and then he tells someone at home.
I had a message today from a foreign reporter that says, how can you prove that your message that hope helps heal? And I immediately thought of when I was presenting to Camp Lejeune, United States Marine Corps base, one of the largest Marine Corps bases in America, to 10,000 Marines in 2 days. And I'm up there and I'm thinking to myself, who is this helping? What am I doing? Those self-doubts that come in, right? Yeah. And this young man, Lance Corporal, in 4 or 5 years, comes up, removes his Lance Corporal chevron, his rank pin, places it on my lapel, and says, I was going to kill myself today. I wasn't going to come to your presentation. Yet here I stand. Will you walk me to my CO, commanding officer, and help me get help? I walked him to his CO. I said to the commanding officer, look, you can choose to ignore this. You can choose to reprimand this young man, but he desperately needs your help right now, and he needs to stay. And he's just told me, and I referred with him that he said he's going to die, but he is going to live, and he needs your help to stay alive. And the commanding officer said, no problem. it's set. And he took the young man, and that young man is alive and well today. And it's not because of me. It's because the power of stories of hope have the ability to transform lives and help them themselves choose life. It's magical.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And it doesn't stop with me. Every one of these advocates we have in this film or in this show, Hope the Ripple Effect Australia, or Hope the Ripple Effect America, Hope the Ripple Effect World, Team Ripple World, Team Ripple Australia, they are all, it's not unique. All of us who can tell our stories well, when we can speak up, speak well, and speak often, we can have that transformative effect with our words. They're studying the science behind storytelling. And what they're finding is that when I tell you a story and you're that kid in that audience,
Yep.
you don't just hear me. As I'm telling that story, you live it with me.
Yeah.
There are transmitters in your brain
Yeah.
that go firing off that make you feel the ability, even if you've never had it in your life before, the ability to empathize.
Yep.
A light goes off in your brain, literally like a neuron transmitter goes off in your brain and says, hey, listen, here, walk this path, put yourself in his or her shoes. And they go, oh man, I can do this.
It seems crazy to me because every major sports team in the world has someone come in and give a motivational talk. No one questions it.
No.
No one questions that that works. Every big business in the world has people come in and have these big talks. Nobody questions it. Why would they question that a talk on hope and healing and building yourself up and having courage for yourself? Why would they question that that works?
Fear. Fear. You say the word suicide and someone will die, which is a myth. It's a
Yes,
complete myth.
Complete myth.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe I'm just hopeful, but I see the tide turning.
Yeah.
I see the tide turning, and I think it's because people are speaking up now. People, the message is getting out. You know, and hopefully, you know, I've said it along the way, and I've said it to heaps of people. We're in the job of putting ourselves out of a job. I'm doing this in the hope that when my kids are my age, there's no need for this, because there's a need for it now.
Yeah,
And
massive.
it's getting worse. But I'm hoping that the tide's turn.
They have to. They have to turn. We can, we will, we must do this work.
That's right.
I was at the Zero Suicide Summit. That's partially why I'm here in Australia this time. The Zero Suicide International Declaration for Local Change and Local Action. And the idea there that people can debate and babble on and battle with, well, we're never going to reach zero. Why not? What is an acceptable number?
0.
Right. That's the only one.
Yeah.
So whether we get that number, whether we get it just in healthcare, whether we get it in certain organizations, in sports teams, at hospitals, in schools, we must strive to achieve it, or else we will never know.
Yeah. So I look at it, and for people, because people are so blinded by this and so shut out from it for so long, you've got to use a reference point for them, for people, something to compare it to. So I always say, you know, you look at things like cancer and HIV and AIDS and stuff 15, 20 years ago. It wasn't talked about. It was hidden. But now it's open, and it enables people to go and get help, and to people to get early screening and get checks and stuff. And we've got to look at this the same way. You know, mental health, it's a disease. It's just like all these other things. You know, it's like diabetes. You know, people live with diabetes. You never hear someone say they battle with diabetes. Try and lose that term. You know, we've gotten rid of the word commit. You know, I want to see the word battle gone as well, because it doesn't have to be a battle. It might be a fight. So what? You know.
So are a lot of other things.
That's it. That's it. But there's a big difference between a fight and a battle.
That's right.
You know, but it's just that term again. That term again just puts an automatic thought into someone's head. It's a battle mental illness, a battle depression, or a battle anxiety. Well, don't battle it. You know, it's live with it.
Live with it.
Live as
and
best
live
you can.
well with it. Yeah.
And learn how to best live with it. Learn how to manage it. You know, learn what suits you and what helps you to live with it. You know, whether it be exercise, whether it be reading. You know, it's not drinking drugs, because that only masks. You think that's helping it. You know, I've been there. I was a heavy self-medicator. but everyone's got their own thing, you know. Whether it's, you might be punching a boxing bag, you know, might be lifting weights, might be cycling, might be surfing. Why do we battle mental illness? You know, why? It's that way of looking at it. I don't sit here every day and say I battle mental illness. I live with it.
You live with it.
I live with it, but I know how to live with it. It's like someone with diabetes knows they've got to change their diet, their lifestyle. They might have to take a shot every day. I've got to wake up and I take a couple of pills and I change my lifestyle to live with it. I live with it the best I can. Just like any other disease, sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down, so what? But it's no longer a battle, and that's what we've got to change people's perspective on it. Agreed,
100% agreed. And I'm going to take what you just said and change my own personal language, because I say battle. And you know what? I'm not going to pretend I don't.
That's my own little campaign. I want to get that out of people's heads.
That language is crucially important. You live with diabetes, you can live with depression.
That's right.
But I'll tell you, there are people out there dying by suicide via depression, right?
Of course.
They're dying they would die like they would die from any other disease. Liver, heart, lung, kidney, cancer of any organ, they're dying from those diseases. That's how people are dying of suicide. They're not committing a crime. They're not committing adultery. It's not a crime. Let's take that language away from it and say, yes, we live with it, and maybe we fight it, and that's okay. Because we're going to get to the other side.
I got asked a question by a lady last week, and it stuck with me. And it wasn't a question for me to answer, but we were having a chat, and she said, do people take their life by suicide because they want to die or because they want to end the pain?
I would say because they want to end the pain.
They want to end the pain.
That's how I felt.
Yeah.
Let me make it crystal clear. I never wanted to die. I never once wanted to die. I believed I had to because of that pain, because of the voices.
And that's that perspective thing that I try and, you know, ram into people.
Hammer home,
Because, you know, it's look at it a different way. Okay, do you want to get rid of the pain? There's certain ways you can try, you know, and it's hard. It's not easy. You know, I've had to change my life a hell of a lot, you know, but what's harder? You know, what's harder for my family, my wife and my kids? You know, and that's how I've had to look at it. You know, and that's how I try and show people they've got to look at it. Mental or physical or what? Emotional?
Or both.
Or both, or all of it.
Or all of the above.
Yeah, you know, and you know, I had a discussion at home the other day with, you know, a few things going on. I said, our problems are just as bad to us as what someone's problem are to them. I said, you can't compare. You know, someone's major problem might be, and you think, oh, well, mine's only small comparatively. Well, if it's big to us, it's big to us. And that's how you got to look at it, you know, and face it like that. You can't just bow your head down and say, oh, well, it's only small, because that can multiply and ends up consuming you.
It will consume you unless you address it and work with it to not just survive the pain, but thrive. Right on, brother. Thanks for the time. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Welcome to my part of the world.
Yes, absolutely.
We'll get you all on boards next time.
No doubt. I don't know about that.
For one, to attract people to come down, so we could come down to this fun thing.
I want to take these guys to New York. Because they're all going to be in the States. So I think what we're going to do is head to New York and throw like a get-together mixer or something.
LB2 amazing. All right, Lauren Green. .com.au. Lauren, we've been acquainted now and been friends and quite good family for over a year now. You came from Perth to Sydney at a really cool time when we're starting this film, Suicide: The Ripple Effect. And that is the notion, the ripple effect. So I have one question to ask you, and I want you to answer it however you see fit. How, Lauren, did the ripple affect your life?
Well, I think for me, instantly when I had a connection with the word ripple effect first was, I actually, after the experience of my brother passing away, I wrote my story down for the first time, and I actually titled it Trust, the Ripple Effect of Suicide. And that was before I'd even met you and heard about the documentary. So that was my first inkling or notion of that resonated with me even before I met you. And in the beginning, in those 6 to 12 months after Aiden passed away, the actual ripple effect was negative for me. My dad attempted to take his life 6 months after my brother did. So a lot of people never told me that, you know, this negative thing could happen and that if you don't watch the signs, and you think that after someone passes away, you deal with that. But there was a ripple effect. It affected a huge amount of people in our family. Friends, family members, everyone. And it took a good sort of 12 to 24 months for me to then realise that actually telling my story could have an amazing positive ripple effect of hope. And then meeting you on that journey and realising that the ripple is important. And a lot of people might say, well, it's a big wave that happens, or, you know, it seems so much bigger, but there are some amazing things that are happening and some small little things that happen that have huge impacts on what we do. And so the ripple effect for me now is spreading that message of hope, resilience, love, care, and I think that's really important. So for me, it started off a little negatively, but it is important now, and it is a very positive thing that's happening right now in Australia, all around the world, and all of the things that we're doing.
It is exciting, and I think inspiration and the ability to look forward to a beautiful future with zero suicides.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what? One suicide is one too many.
One suicide is one too many, and people can argue about the semantics of zero and not zero and 15% or 20% in the next 5 years, or we could just focus on a singular goal and do everything in our damnedest to get there.
Yeah.
Lauren, there's another ripple effect that you're not talking about. Not in a bad way, but there's another ripple effect you're not talking about. What about the ripple effect of connecting with all of these amazing advocates now right all across the world? Talk about that briefly?
I can. We are called Team Ripple. I can't believe I nearly forgot that. And these members of this community, these advocates all around the world, some of them I haven't met yet, they are some of the biggest supports that I know I have in this sector and in my life, because we have a shared experience. We understand to a certain degree what everyone is going through, and we get it. And these members of Team Ripple are all doing amazing things, and they're all spreading their message of hope and healing, because we know hope helps people. And these guys are doing fabulous things, and it's a really exciting time to be involved in this space. It really is.
There it is. Thank you, Lauren. Appreciate your time. You're amazing. All right? I know. And the ripple effect. There's another ripple effect.
Is that?
We're working together.
Oh!
Every day it
The
seems.
ripple effect is we have an issue with our shared story.
I'm so sick and tired of you, Lauren. I'm so tired of you. You're everywhere. Just go. No.
What would you do with your iPad?
No, I'm kidding. All right. On that
Thank you,
note, there we go. Sons, Higgs, Sones. Anyway, hi, Sonia Higgins.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm glad you're good. Sonia, I want to ask you a question,
Mm-hmm.
and I want you to think about the answer before you answer,
Sure.
and answer to the best of your ability.
Mm-hmm.
Son, how has the ripple affected your life?
I think the ripple has affected my life in profound ways. I think it has taught me about the fragility of life. I think it has also taught me that no matter where you are and where you live and what background you come from, that vulnerability doesn't discriminate. But I've learned some powerful lessons around how to be human, and how to always lead my life with compassion and understanding, and most of all, kindness. And it has led me to want to do things that are meaningful. So with whatever skills or whatever I can do, and whether that's stories or just helping people or connecting people, I think it has given me a reason to make sure that whatever I do makes it better, makes the world better. I am sad that those things have affected my life, have affected people that I love, have affected people that I encounter every day, but I feel part of those fierce warriors, that global community, and I am forever grateful for that.
Sean, can you also break down in your own words how the ripple effects of hope have changed your life?
I think without hope, there's no light. And people in, not just now, I think in any points in time, when you deal with things that are painful, if you don't inject hope and resilience and guidance into those circumstances and share that around and make that incredibly infectious, it's hard for people to find solutions. So I think hope has done wonderful things for my life. It has introduced me to beautiful, wonderful, incredible people that I want to surround myself with on an ongoing basis. I feel it makes me feel lucky. It makes me feel privileged, and it makes me want to give back more. So hope is a wonderful thing for so many people that might feel vulnerable and suffering, that someone's got your back.
Sons, what or who or both have been your greatest inspirations?
My mum, she's such a beautiful person, and my kindness has come from her. She just sees the world through all its possibilities and all its wonder, and despite even as she gets on in age, you think that she would be old and cynical, but we call her Wendy because we say that she's always in La La Land. But it's a beautiful thing because you see what's possible and you see what non-judgment and love and openness, what it does for the world. And she, doesn't matter who crosses her path or whatever you've done in your past, she just welcomes you. So she has been incredibly inspiring, and I am so forever grateful that I inherited and I have some of that kindness DNA in me. I have someone that sits behind a camera on a daily basis who has been my light and who has saved me so many times when I felt horrible, and I would not have any reason for living or for the confidence and for the hope that he brings into my life. And I will never have the words to describe how wonderful Steve is to me. He has a name. He's not just the man behind the video camera. He has lots of nicknames too, as I'm sure he has for me. But he just has this unbounding confidence in who I am as a person and gives me a safe place to just be me all of the time. And I could never express my gratitude for that. I'm usually really good about not crying.
That was amazing.
I'm so sorry.
That was perfect. Solid.